Hi, my name is Connie Knox, and I am here for another episode on Genealogy TV, and I am joined by my sidekick, Ashley. Welcome, Ashley.
I
So, today, what we're going to learn are two things. We're going to learn how to do DNA to kind of connect a missing connection. We're going to try and link together a part of the family tree that is either disjointed or we're not quite sure how this other person fits in, and probably likely an unknown DNA match. This works both ways. It could be just part of the family that you don't know how it connects, and we can use DNA to help solve that, or we can take the mystery DNA match and try and work the family tree in order to figure that out. So we're going to learn two things. We're going to work on the DNA strategy, and we're going to learn how to map this out in Lucidchart. We're going to use Ashley's family tree, although you're not going to see her tree. We're going to map out basically what she's feeding me in Lucidchart. I'm going to show you Lucidchart here in just a second. So for a lot of people who like, what is Lucidchart? It is a really cool free software where you can build a family tree. And by the way, as I get ready to share my screen with you, there are two handouts for this episode. And one is just the very basics of how to use Lucidchart specifically for this task, which is more than you probably need to know anyway. And then the other one is about the strategy that we're going to talk about, basically going up, going sideways, and coming back down. That's kind of the strategy. I don't really have a name for it, but so this is Lucidchart, and the nice thing about Lucidchart is this is just a very brief chart that I created yesterday for this purpose. But the nice part is you can move things around and you can go to shapes and add things. So we're going to start from scratch, but I wanted to show you how this works because you can grab portions of it, you can grab single boxes, you can actually connect other boxes and type, right? A sister, a sibling, or whatever. You can actually duplicate this box just by going Control D and then move that over and connect again. I mean, you can do all kinds of crazy things. You can even type in the line if you want and type there. So I'm going to delete that box. All I'm doing is highlighting and hit the delete key. But the nice part about this is when you're doing DNA, one of the things you need to remember is to keep your generations in line. And so that's the nice thing, is it shows you exactly when you have everything in line, because it's important when we're trying to just figure out the relationships between people. And so having a lucid chart, you can even do it this way. You can even move the whole thing up if you're squeezed for space. And so we can move up and down and all around if we want. Here, what I have done is I have taken a line and I connected it to, let me disconnect these two lines just to show you, actually three lines. So what I'm doing is I've highlighted the line, I'm hovering over the connector, click and drag it away. Do that again, highlight the line, grab the connector, click and drag it away. So now I'm just setting these aside for a moment because I wanted to show you that when you connect, I'm going to delete this line. So I've highlighted it, I'm going to hit the delete key. When you go to connect two people, like this is a husband and wife, right? We want to make sure that our arrows are set to none. Otherwise, if this is the default is an arrow, and so it's going to show an arrow there. I don't really want an arrow there. So we're going to get to the strategy here in a minute, but I just wanted to show you the basics. So we're going to go to none, and I'm going to grab this connector, and I'm going to come to this connector. And now these two are connected, which is really, really handy when you're doing this family history stuff. So now I'm going to grab this line, I'm going to grab the connector, and I'm going to connect it to this roughly the center, and I'm going to do the same thing. Now, a couple other little functions that you can do: grab the connector, pull it up, drag it in. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in. So I'm just using the roller bar on my mouse, and without touching my keyboard, it goes up and down, right? But if I hit the Alt key, I think it is, I can zoom in by scrolling up on my mouse. Now I can hold the space bar down and grab and drag it around. Once you learn a couple of these little functions, It makes it so easy. So now you can see that my line is not perfectly set. I'm going to grab these two and slide them over so that they line up really pretty. And so now I'm going to hold the Alt key. I think it'll also work with the Control key. Let's try the Control key. Yeah, I'm zooming out. But if you'll notice, I'm zooming out where my mouse is. So if I move my mouse down here, I'm going to zoom out down here. I'm going to hold the spacebar down and I'm going to push this up a little bit so that I'm zooming out. Again, hold the Alt or Control key on a Windows computer. It's probably the Command key on a Mac. Hold the spacebar down, grab, and move. So that's it in a nutshell. If you want to highlight a whole bunch of stuff to move it, you can do so. So it moves the whole set. So those are kind of the basics. Those are all that we need to do. Over here on the left-hand side, you'll see a Shapes panel. And I've already selected the box, but I can just drag this over and I can fill it with text. Up here is the color. So I can like make it green. And now you'll see all my recently used shapes and colors are up here. So and double click to retype whatever it is that you want to type. And then again, if you want to delete it, you can just highlight it and hit the delete key and it's gone. All right, so that's the basics for getting started with the Lucidchart part of it. So the strategy that we're going to talk about today, Miss Ashley, using your family tree, is if we have, I think I slid over here, an unknown cousin. So the trick with the strategy, I'm going to hold the Control key down and zoom out slightly, hold the spacebar down and move up. So the strategy is if we have an unknown DNA cousin, most of the time in their DNA, unless they're adopted and they have absolutely no idea who their parents are, a lot of times they will have in their family tree or in the through lines even, but through lines is not going to show this because it's not connected. So I'm talking about Ancestry's through lines. But if we have an unknown DNA cousin and we can't figure out exactly where they fit, one of the things that we can do, first of all, pay attention to the age of the person who is the DNA tester, because they might be up here. So if you're here, let's take this and color it yellow, just for grins and giggles. We're going to make all of our DNA cousins yellow, just so they pop out at us. We could put little symbols on there, but I just find it faster sometimes to color them. And so I'm coming up here. By the way, you could change a border, so you could make the border a different color. I don't care for the borders personally. I use the fill, and I'm going to use the yellow. Whoops, I missed. I used the wrong one. Okay, so now we got all our DNA cousin matches colored as yellow. I use blue for boys and pink for girls just for grins and giggles. And so we want to figure out, okay, does this person fit in the generational chart? See, we got our generations lined up, right? We want to try and figure out the relationship of this person to you. So you know your age, but you don't necessarily know this person's age. But it helps if you can figure it out. And sometimes you can figure it out by the ages or like if these two people are deceased, there's probably a birth and death date on these people. And if that is the case, you can guesstimate a lot of times 20 to 30 years between generations-ish, unless there's a lot of children in the family. But where does that person fit? Do they fit in this generation? Do they fit up here? And actually, my generations are now kind of messed up because I was moving them. So let's fix that. Okay. So now it's kind of like, okay, where do they fit? Do they fit down here? Are they one generation younger than you? Do they fit 2 generations younger than you? Do they fit way up here? Maybe they're a great aunt or a great uncle, right? It's not likely that it's going to be too far up the line just because DNA hasn't been around that long. So with all of that said, this is the strategy, right? So let's pretend that we kind of figure out that we think that they're roughly here. The strategy is this. From you and your known DNA cousins, these are your known DNA cousins because we have common ancestors that we know that these people descend from. We know that this person descends from these common ancestors. So the strategy is this, to go up, over, and back down. And sometimes you have to actually go up another generation and find the common ancestor up there. then go sideways to a sibling, to another sibling, to another sibling, and come back down until this connects with something here. Does that
Mhm.
make sense?
It does because if you're thinking about the G rule, right? You're looking at great, 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 or, however many. You're going to find these third, fourth cousins sometimes coming up on your list if you're lucky. And the more distant they are, the more generations you have to go back to go up that tree out to a branch and back down.
Yes. So a lot of times, this may be the common ancestor. Actually, if we're going to siblings,
Hmm.
this would be the common ancestor, and it would be a married couple, right? So this would be like pink, right? And then this line would actually connect here, right? And by the way, when you have a line like this and it's doing something goofy, if you hover over the line, you can drag it down just to fix it so it looks nice. So now it might be that all of these kids, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Let me back up. I'm going to highlight that and hit delete. It's not deleting because I'm in text mode. Delete, get rid of that line, delete. So so basically what I wanna do is I wanna draw a line just by clicking and dragging, and then I can drag this down. So basically, these are all the siblings, right? So we don't really need these lines. We can delete those out of there. But these are all the siblings that descend from this ancestral couple. And
Hmm.
so now this line over here, this is now the common ancestor to this DNA cousin and you. So to get back to what Ashley was saying about the G rule for those who have no idea what I'm talking about, the G rule is this: grandparent is one G and great is another G. So this would be great grandparents or great grandparents or great grandmother in this case, and that's two G's.
Hmm.
So that would be a second cousin in common. So with here, we have this would be great grandparents. So this would be a second cousin. This would be a first cousin once removed because it's a generation closer. So I know this is confusing and I don't want to get too in the weeds on this chart because we're going to start all over again and we're going to build a new chart in Lucidchart. So if you're new to Lucidchart, here's how you do it. So we're going to go over to Lucidchart. Hopefully I've got the right screen up. So once you sign in, you have to log in. Now, I do have a paid subscription. I forget what I pay. It's not a lot. I think I picked the annual plan because it was cheaper. And so you can have all kinds of different things in here. We're going to hit new and we're going to say Lucid Chart, not Lucid Spark. I do not know anything about Lucid Spark. We're going to start with a blank document. I don't care for the templates personally. I like to use a blank because now I know what I'm starting. I don't care for the AI. I've really never used it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drag over the first text box. So this, Ashley, do we need to start with you or who or how? I'm not exactly sure what part of the tree we're solving for, and we're going to try and keep it as small as possible.
So I think we were trying to solve for my maternal side. So I don't know if you want to start with my mother or if it matters.
And we're going to use initials just for privacy reasons throughout her tree. So we know that this is Ashley, and we know that this is mom. We'll just
Uh-huh.
say mom, mother. Okay. And whoops, look what I did. I accidentally put an arrow here, and that is because I didn't change the default to none. So now we have a straight up thing. So we're going to put mom over here. We're not even doing dad's side at all, right? So we don't really
No.
need to
So I
do
think
this
it's
at all.
okay.
All right. So we'll stick with that.
Yeah.
Now, are we going up the maternal
Yes.
grandmother or paternal?
Maternal grandmother.
Okay. And what's her initials?
LG.
LG. And if we wanna color that again, we come over here and we can just make that, I don't know, pink? Is that pink enough? Pink. And we got pink. And we got pink. And Ashley's pink too. Alright, so alright, and look at that, I did it again, and this why? Because I didn't change okay, before what I did was I just changed this to no arrow, but what I failed to do was change the default to none. So now the next
Um,
box I draw with a line should not have an arrow. Alright, moving on. So where are we going from here in your tree?
so from LG, let's see, the mystery was on maternal grandfather side. So just for
With
the sake of the chart, give her a partner.
Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna click on mom, and we're gonna hover over that blue dot, and now we have a partner. Now, this actually, I don't like the way this is drawing. I'm gonna do it differently. The way I did it before, which was
Mhm.
this way, and then we're gonna
And then
take a
connect it.
line and draw it up this way.
Mhm.
So now this is a grandfather. So the initials here are
JR.
JR.
Mhm.
Okay, and we can highlight both of those and straighten that up if we want. All right, next.
So, because I was getting cousin matches through his side, through JR's side, I think to figure it out, I needed to go one generation back from him.
Going up another generation?
Yes, please.
Okay,
So, his father was WR
okay.
and mother was RG.
RG, we're gonna make that pink, and we're gonna remove this line. Actually, we're gonna move this line as such, and let's do this. How's that?
Great. Yeah.
Okay. Now we have a mystery match out there somewhere, right?
Mhm. We do.
Okay. So this mystery match, we don't know where this mystery match comes from. And so, do we know anything about this mystery match? Do we know the parent of this mystery match?
I have to look at my chart again.
All right. While she's doing that, I'm going to draw the parent of our mystery match. Right? I'm just going to label it as parent for this sake. And there may be another generation up, but in the meantime, again, we're trying to figure out where does this person fit. And when Ashley had done this research before, we believe it's coming from this line somewhere. So that means that this guy, JR, probably had a sibling, right? That it may be in line with this here, or maybe a couple different siblings. There could be several siblings that attach, right?
Mhm.
And so we can make this all look nice and neat so that we
Actually,
can.
it was not through WR. The mystery person descended through RG.
Ah,
Mm,
okay.
yeah.
This is the beauty of Lucidchart, because now what we
Mhm.
can do is we can drag RG over here, and we can drag all of this over here. Does that look right now?
Yes.
Okay, so I can delete
That
this.
actually leaving that child of WR and RG helps me separate because there ended up being a half-sibling relationship.
Okay, so I'm going to control Z to undo what I just did. So you're saying there is a sibling out here that is a descendant of WR, but not of RG?
Correct. Oh,
So these
no,
two are
the other
half
way around.
siblings?
The other way around, I'm sorry.
Okay.
They have it turns out that JR had a half-sibling.
From the mom.
Correct. Like, through another relationship.
Okay, so this is a perfect example. So then we bring this over here and we pull this up here. Does that look right? Let's get this parent and mystery match out of the way for the moment. This is a half sibling to JR, right?
Correct.
And this is so typical of DNA, and this is why we use Lucidchart to help us think this through, because especially when you start getting into half relationships, it can get really confusing.
Yes.
And so, I mean, if we really wanna make this closer, we can, but it's really not necessary. What is necessary is to make sure that we have this generation lined up. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So we now know that this is a direct descendant, and this RG had another relationship, a guy of some sort who was the father of our half sibling, right?
Yes,
So
he's
we
the
could do
mystery father.
this, and we could say, it doesn't really matter. We'll call it a second relationship. Okay.
Mhm.
And so now we need to be thinking about that centimorgan count. This is one of the reasons why we like to go to DNA Painter. Please stand by. Okay, DNA Painter. And when we go here, we want to go to the shared centimorgan tool. If we know what the mystery match centimorgan count is to you, then we can plug it in here. Do you happen to know that off the top of your head? Or do you have that handy?
I'm looking through my matches now.
And by the way, what is the initials of the mystery match?
Mystery match is MT, I believe,
Okay.
because 'cause I'm going by maiden names.
Do you happen to know what the centimorgan count is?
I am looking at right now. She is from me.
Mhm.
She's coming up as 216.
Alright, I'm just gonna make a note of that, and by the way, if you don't like this, you can hit the shift and return, and it will put a line break in there. Okay, so now we know that this relation if you really want to, you could draw a line from here to here saying, "Hey, this is 216." Sometimes I will do this because I might wanna also note what the centimorgan count is here, and I might go, 500 or whatever it is, so that you could whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Please stand by. I meant to do this so that the 500 shows that it's going to this mystery match. I'm gonna remove that for the sake of simplicity because I don't want everyone to get confused on this whole strategy. Alright. So now, where do we go from here? MT has a parent. Do we know what that parent is? Do we look at her DNA, her family tree? Does she have any information or does she absolutely know nothing? We know that's a she because you said so.
Yes, so that is a she. I believe when I was looking through everything with the matches, obviously it gave an estimated relationship. But when I went through her tree that she did have linked, I was able to find some information on her. So let me just pull that up real quick.
So for those at home that are kind of wondering what exactly we're doing here, this is another strategy called the quick and dirty tree strategy. And basically what that is using other DNA cousin matches trees to quickly build out the lineage. Now, most of the time, those DNA cousin matches are going to know who their parents are and who their grandparents are if they are not adopted. And so we've got a couple different strategies we can play with here. So, what are the initials of the parent from our mystery match MT?
So her father is ET,
Okay.
and then she has a mother, EL, I believe.
And that is a female person. So we'll make that pink. Okay. And now I'm going to move this line this way. And so, did you ever figure out how this little family unit, this little clan connects to this group of yours?
Yes, and it was quite a challenge, but after piecing things together, lucky for me, her tree was kind of small, and based on what I could find, there were only a few potential candidates for this connection. It
Okay.
turns out that EL has a brother.
Okay. So we're going to go up to a parent. Okay. It would actually be two parents. Let's just say EL's father.
I would say
Just
her EL's mother is MG.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Alright, MG, that would be cleaner, alright, and
and
there's a
then
father,
her father is FL.
FL.
Mhm,
Okay, so we're gonna now take this and connect it up here. We're gonna make FL blue here in just a minute, and hopefully we can get this. Alright, so now we've got this other little family tree going. This is a floating tree. You can do a similar strategy on Ancestry, but I find sometimes Lucidchart is a lot faster. And by the way, you can get rid of this menu if you need more space.
mhm.
All right, so now we've got this little floating tree and your tree. How do they connect?
So, to make it cleaner, if it is easy, move ET and mystery match over to the right.
ET and mystery. All right, so let go. Oh, okay. So that we're over like this way.
Yeah.
All right. So see what happened? My lines kind of got a little goofy, but not too bad. They stayed with me. Is that what you're looking for?
Yes.
Okay. EL needs to have a brother. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this one and we're going to go control D to duplicate and we're going to bring that down here and then we're going to connect it this way. Is it a full brother?
Yes.
Okay. And then we can make our lines we can zoom in really if we want to make those lines absolutely perfect.
Mhm,
But for the sake of this video, we don't need to. All right. So we're going to zoom out. I'm going to hold the space bar down to move this around. All
mhm.
right. So we got our little floating tree going. What's going on next?
So, EL's brother is JL.
Oh, JL, that's right, I
Yeah.
need to change that. JL, okay.
And again, for the sake of this video, we figured out that JL is the second relationship.
Second relationship up here? Like, this
Yes.
half-sibling is the same person?
No,
No.
child of.
JL is the child of, so this is the same person.
JL is the second relationship. He is the mystery person.
So then this person and this person is one person.
Nope. FL is a generation above.
I'm confused because you said JL is the a product of the second relationship here.
No, that he is the mystery second relationship person. So basically, you're pasting JL over second relationship. Just grab that whole thing and paste it.
Like that? Interesting. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna delete this. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna type this as a second relationship so we now know. And I'm gonna remove this, delete, and connect this one. Did I get that right?
Yes. Yes.
And then I'm gonna move this whole clan over. Now, I realize for the audience at home, they're like, well, how did she figure that out? Mhm. So, Miss Ashley, how did you figure that out? Or was that from our previous conversations that we had talked about this at great length?
So obviously, you and I had to put our heads together on this. It's very difficult at times because the DNA relationship was estimated to be a second cousin based on this mystery match at 216, and she's 216 to me. So definitely had to look at the shared matches, looking at the amount of centimorgans shared between myself and others. But figuring that out basically wound up that JR, which is my maternal grandfather, we essentially figured out that he was a half sibling to his other full siblings because we also had to compare him to descendants from his siblings. That was the only way that all of this made sense. And mystery match MT, she did give me what information she had, so she was kind enough to respond.
What was the initials for this guy? I accidentally erased it.
He is JL.
JL.
Mhm.
And again, I'm gonna hold the shift key down and hit enter to put that below. Okay. So, long story short, this is how you can think this through. And actually, because of the half relationships and the very odd situation that was going on here, if I recall,
Mhm.
this was an unknown relationship to the rest of the family, and it took us a little while to figure it out. But
Yes. Yes.
long story short, if you use Lucidchart and you could sit there and move things around, you can keep everything in a straight line across, and it's super easy to do, just because when you click on something, it's gonna show you whether you're matched up in line or not, and
Mhm.
so you can make it very neat and clean. I just love Lucidchart for this kinda thing. You can even, if you really wanna tighten things up, you could take the whole generation and move it closer, and move everybody up if you need to, but that is a huge benefit to helping people figure this out. So I think I was going to show one other thing about Ancestry's DNA shared matches tool, which also came in clutch when we were trying to figure this out a few months ago. So
Mhm.
I'm going to jump over to my matches. This is my match list. I've got everything blurred out. Hopefully everything will be okay. So if you're brand new to DNA, the DNA match list is absolute. You can bank on the genetics here. You go to DNA and then you drop down to the match list. So as we scroll down, I'm going to use one of my cousins as an example. So here we're jumping into CM, and you can see tester is me, CM is my cousin match. And here you can see our common ancestors popping up, and it would also show that over here as well. But what I wanted to show you is in the shared matches tool. Now, the shared matches tool is a pro tool at Ancestry. They're not paying me to tell you about this. I just think it is so beneficial that it is worth talking about. And so I'm in the shared matches tool. So this is all of the DNA matches that both myself and my cousin CM share. We have a genetic connection with all of these people together. We both have a genetic connection to these people. Well, one of the things that we did with Ashley's situation was we went into not only the shared matches tool, but the sort tool.
Yes.
So what the sort tool does is we can say, so let me back up. This is my column. This is her column. Okay. So this person here, this BD person has 1,000 centimorgans to me, 1,091 centimorgans to me, but 408 centimorgans to my cousin. But we can go into the sort tool and sort by my match's name instead of me. So right now, is the green check mark is on what is the closest relationship to me? And so in chronological genetic order, it is, 1,000 is higher than 865 is higher than 7, right? So this is the order in DNA matches to me. However, we can sort that by my match's name if you have Pro Tools.
Mhm.
And so now we can see that if we're trying, if maybe this is the mystery match, and I don't know this second cousin, a one time removed, or maybe a half second cousin. I don't know this person. I'm trying to figure it out by finding a known match, which is this cousin up here is a known match to me. I know where she is in the family tree. I see that this is her nephew. So that because we've sorted this column by my matches name. This is the power of the shared matches tool and having the pro tool so that you can sort by the matches name and not necessarily by mine because you can see the distance relationship. Here we can see she's got a grandson and this is farther removed, only 47 centimorgans to me. This person might be a mystery also. And I'm like, what? Who is this person? Well, sure enough, it's a grandson. Well, if I know this person and she's only got 3 children, it's got to be a child of one of those 3 kids. So that's part of the strategy that we used when we were trying to figure out Ashley's situation. So we had to go up, we went sideways and came back down to figure out that mystery person. And sometimes you have to go up a couple of generations. So in this case, while we thought we had gone up high enough, we actually had to go up one more because of this half relationship that, we had to map out this part of the tree and then figure out the connection. I think I may have blown everyone's mind on that. So, 2 handouts for this. The DNA strategy handout, which basically explains how to go up, go sideways, and come back down,
Yes.
and how to, kind of how to connect that. And then the other one is simply the basics of Lucidchart. And by the way, don't leave this blank. You can actually type up here, my DNA chart, whatever, my mystery chart, my connection to the Garcia family.
Yeah.
So there you have it. Ashley, you got anything else to add? What did I miss? Anything?
No, I think that covered it. It was definitely a challenge, so have some patience, and patience with yourself to figure it out, especially with my situation where we had 0 idea where this connection could be. So a lot of it relied on the shared centimorgans and then really digging into shared matches.
So the challenge with Ashley's tree was that because of that half relationship, there were so many possibilities.
Mhm.
So, like I said before, when we went to DNA Painter and we're looking at 216 centimorgans to this mystery match, the mystery match was kind enough to share some information that we were able to start to piece things together. Okay, well, so you look at all the different possible relationships and you go, well, it can't be a great grandson. Let's scratch that one off. It can't be, and so we kind of scratch off what's left. And what was left turned out to be a half relationship. I don't know. That would be like a half second uncle or granduncle to you, I think. So
Yeah.
yeah, it can get complicated, but mapping it out in Lucidchart, I think really helps.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you get this list, and it sometimes I think a lot of people in genealogy, we get used to those either a fan chart or, the descendancy charts, things like that, or pedigree. So for me, especially, I had to map it out, and I think you were on the same wavelength with that, that I just had to visually plant everything onto the screen and figure out how to map those together and build those connections.
So, one word of advice on Ancestry, when you click on the relationship, it'll give you like 2 or 3 options.
Mhm.
But I highly recommend that you go to DNA Painter and do the same thing because
Absolutely.
it'll give you all possible relationships, whereas Ancestry is only going to give you the top most likely, and it
Mhm.
may be wrong. So, DNA Painter is your go to, the Centimorgan tool there. So, with that, I think we have kind of blown everyone's mind. I suggest that you watch the video again if you need to, or pick up the handouts if you're part of the any of the memberships that are eligible for the handouts. You'll have those available to you now, or you can just pick them up over at genealogytv.org. Also, a word of advice for those who are members. One of the things that we've been running into a lot is people sign up on YouTube or they sign up on Patreon, and then they expect to find the handouts in the genealogytv.org website. And they are two separate things. So wherever your membership is where you go to get your handouts. So if you signed up as the information access level on YouTube, then go sign in to YouTube, go to the Genealogy TV channel, and then go to the membership tab, and you'll probably see the link in there. Now, if you're watching this 5 years from now, you're going to be scrolling forever to find that handout. So same goes with Patreon, except for Patreon members, that handout gets emailed to them when we publish the video. But if you're watching this after the fact and it's already been published, then go to Patreon. What is it? Patreon.com
Mhm.
/ genealogy TV, and then look through the posts and you will be able to find a link to the handout as well. I know that's confusing, but I'm trying to make it convenient for everybody. So wherever you signed up is where you go to get the handout. Okay? All right. We'll see everybody. Bye.